Good evening, good evening, good evening. I woke up this morning at 2 a.m. I'm still going to get up at 2 a.m. I get up at 2 o'clock every morning, get into my word, pray, get things set, anything I need to accomplish or try to achieve first thing in the morning or for the next day before I can focus and concentrate. I get it done. Any emails I got to respond to, any paperwork I need to sit down and go through, any jobs I need to write up, I do it that time in the morning. Then I get my son ready to take him to school and I come home. I might watch the news, what last a little bit of it, and then I might wind down and lay down until about 12 o'clock, get me something to eat. Then I get myself cleaned up and go get ready to get back on father duty. It's just, I've been sitting here today just still at all, just say, man, reading over these sermons that my mom, left. She gave me that. When she gave me that folder and that book, I put it away and I packed stuff up. I think I had that folder probably 2021 when I came back towards the Rocky Mount area. So it's been sitting over there with the rest of the books I had sitting over there down there at this house. And I moved it around with me a couple of times, but it stayed in that file cabinet. And if people, for the ones who don't know, I really didn't go see my mother preach a whole lot because I was so busy at that time. When she was healthy enough to go around and preach, I was back and forth in Rocky Mount. Sometimes I would when she had a church in Wilson. I would go to her church in Wilson she had. Matter of fact, me and my fiance would drive to the church. If she was preaching at the church she was preaching in Wilson, we would drive and go see her on Sunday sometimes. But with my mom, when she let that building go, she moved back to Raleigh. Then she moved to Fuquay for a little small building. The office building at the hotel, Holiday Inn, that's what she had it set up in Fuquay. But then she ended up moving her church back to, I'm trying to think the last time she had that church set up. Actually, I really can't remember because a lot of my stuff was in storage. My drum set and everything I had that was left at the church. When she left that church in Wilson, my drum set and everything they put up in storage. And I was going around traveling, doing my own thing and going to see churches I want to go, attend. My sister probably went to go see a lot of my mama's sermons when she preached. But down towards the end, when she got real sick, it seemed like, I can't say she got real sick. As she was starting to get sicker, she was still right for other people, but she wasn't healthy enough or strong enough. They didn't think she had the strength to go up there and preach. So I would go, sometimes during the week I would sit there and I would watch her write sermons. And then she would get phone calls and say they were going with either another guest speaker or, or they were going to another church or something would happen at the church every time it was time for her to preach. Those last 2 years she was living, she really didn't. I think the last 2 years she was living, she preached one more time. I think she said when she got to the church, there were only 3 people there that showed up because everyone else had left, had other obligations to go to another church. And she came home and she cried. She was crying. But she said she still preached, even if that was going to be the last time she preached. I didn't have the strength to sit there and go watch her preach at those small congregations when I would see her sit there and prepare a message all week long. And she's wanting to spread the word, the gospel to a large group of people. And for sometimes they would get there and they would cancel on her or go with other guest speakers. So that hurt me to watch her sit there, somewhat prepare those sermons, but never had the opportunity to preach them. But I'm reading them, I'm looking over them now, and it's like this is amazing. That and between that, these sermons, and which left me the barbecue sauce recipe. She knew that probably was going to carry me very far. That was probably one of the reasons why she kept trying to get me to focus on that ministry course. Sit there at the house with her. Those last 2 years, I sat with her every day, prepared 5 meals a day at times because her appetite kept changing because of the chemo. And while I sat there with her, she always told me she was fine, but I could look at her and tell there was something else going on the inside. And at that time, I still was running my business because sometimes she would go with me on service calls and sit in my truck or my son while I would go run my service calls. And what little, with a little small business, it may look small to other people, but if I was able to go out there and do any service calls and make more on that one service call than I did on my 40-hour week, oh yeah. When I started my business in 2018, they ain't never had to worry about me going back to work in another company. I could sit still for a month or two at a time and still might get a phone call and still put that resource back to the back and still sit for another 3 or 4 months at a time if I have to. Cause I live within my means, and I still put money off to the side. I don't go buy me nothing brand new, fancy. I make sure my son's fresh. I'm gonna make sure my son's fresh. I'm gonna do everything I need to do for him, cause I know if I instill good morals and character traits in him, as long as his foundation is good, he's gonna be able to, go out and try to achieve what he wants to achieve in life. Then I know my goal has been met. I can go out there. I can go out there and try to accomplish and achieve anything. I'm not one of those type of people to go out there and look for. People of the world look for perfection, and nothing's ever going to be perfect. Because even God, will take something that has flaws, that looks imperfect to the rest of the world, and rise it up and make it a masterpiece in front of everyone else's eyes. So sometimes even some of your finest artwork in the museums have little small imperfections of it. You can't look for the flaws though. Don't look for the flaws, because maybe that little small imperfection is really what makes that masterpiece stand out the most. Builds character. So never overlook the individual. Never judge a book by its covers. Sometimes what a person may see or perceive with their own eyes really may not be the truth that everyone else is telling anyway. If a person is working 24/7 on a regular job, sometimes they're really not giving themselves enough time to either be at home or focus on themselves. Get alone, focus on the word properly. That's one thing I've been doing here, is focusing on myself, realigning myself spiritually, and blocking out the rest of the world. So I can see clearly and hear clearly what it is God is trying to tell me to do. And with me doing so, sometimes it make other people around me uncomfortable, because sometimes they may think I'm not doing enough, when I've given up a lot to be in position that I'm in right now, to be there for my son presently, most importantly, and I'm gonna continue to do so. Like I say, I'm not going to say too much today. I encourage y'all, strengthen your prayer life with God, and get into that word through your spirit, feed your natural. Y'all be blessed, be encouraged.